Hello and welcome. So in this session, we are going to see what are replication flow. Okay. So if you remember in the last sessions, we have created one transformation flow. In that, we have used one of the table which was delta enabled. Let me go into transformation flow, which we created in the previous sessions and show you the table which we have used for the transformation flow. We have used a table which was delta enabled and that was not part of our space. It was created in some other space and capturing delta from the source systems. We have used that table for our transformation flow. So now why we want to see the table is because that is delta enabled table. That means uh, it was capturing delta records from the source. It was there in the Datasphere, but the data coming to the table from source, and it was capturing delta records. If any changes are done in the source or new records created, they were replicated in the table in Datasphere. So, for example, if I go here, I'll show you the table which we have used. So this is the table which we have used, and let me go down. This is the table which was given for us in the trial version. If I go to show info, this is the table, technical name and semantic usage. This is the local table which is in Datasphere, but it was created in some other space. Okay, these are all fine. So main important thing is this table is delta enabled table. If I go back to data builder, I'll show you this table. If I go inside this, I think I cannot show you, but yeah, this is what we can do is, let me I can show the preview data preview, but this is delta enabled. Okay, so by using replic, how they enable delta for this is like how they are capturing delta is by using replication flow. Okay, by using replication flows, what we can do is from source, we can capture the delta data in our local tables. We are going to see that in today's session. And one more thing I want to show, in previous sessions, we have imported some remote tables. Okay, let me go and see in the remote tables. These remote tables also we imported from source systems. But only thing is, they're not like delta enabled. We can persist the data, we can replicate the data into them, but we cannot only bring the delta changes from the source. Okay. So this is my remote table which we imported from S4. This is purchase order data. You can see we have options to replicate data, remove replicate data, enable real-time data replication. And replication means we can store this data completely. If you enable real-time replication, what it do is it will, it will also replicate the data in real time and it will be running continuously. Okay, it will be like I think it will be checking continuously for any new data or changes. Okay, that's how it works. So by using replication flow today, we are going to create table which captures our delta records. Suppose in case of any changes are done in source, or in case of any new records come, then those things will be coming into our data sphere, into our local table. So to create that, what we can do is let me create inside our folder. I will click on new replication flow. So when you create a replication flow, you will come into this space. Here you have to select something like source system connection first. Since this is a trial version, SAP has given some connections already. So I'm going to choose S4 HANA. This is S4 HANA system. And once that is done, then you have to select source container. It's like a folder. When you go inside source container S4, let's see what we have here. So we have some like source containers like CDS extraction. All the CDS views will be there. Then ODP BW, ODP SAP, ODP BW. I think these are like data sources kind of things. Again, ODP SAP. These are data sources. Like we have right like FIGL, all these things. We can go inside and see. But for now, I'm not gonna go inside. We'll see in the next sessions what objects are there. But for now, I will select my CDS extraction container. This is like a folder. Inside that, you will have like many CDS views. So after selecting the container, next option is add source objects. So when you go here, inside this container, it will show you if any CDS views are available. So we have many CDS views. We will use one of the CDS view for our example. C_sales. Let's see if any CDS view available for sales. If it is, we will use and we will replicate that sorry sales data into Datasphere. Okay, we have some data extraction for sales document. Okay, we have one CDS view where sales document items information is there. Let's replicate this view. You can select multiple objects also. Okay, these are of type like CDS views in this S4 system. I'm selecting this as my source. Okay, this is the technical name, CDS view. This is the location in S4 and add selection. Now you have added the source details like you have source system connection and container, you selected objects. Now you have to add like you target details like where you want to replicate. I want to replicate in my data sphere. This is a local tenant. Select data sphere and okay, it's gonna create in this space. I don't have option to select any other, but okay. And now this target, let's click on three dots. You can rename your target. Like in Datasphere, if you want to rename that, you can rename that, or you can map to existing object. If you already have a table, you can map that. Let's rename this to something sales document item. Let's leave like this. And the business name, let's click on rename and select this. You see, it's renamed already. And here below you have some options. And before that, let's you can see there are some options like projections and settings. Those you can see from here also. Okay, projections and settings. First, let's see projection, what it is. Projection means. Click on add. So now we are in this projection. You have two options, filters and mapping. Filters are nothing but basically you see we have total 148 columns in this CDS view. Okay, if in case if you want to filter on any of the like if you know the sales document, if you want to filter, you can click that. You can add a filter like equal to less and all these things are there. You can add a filter in case if you want to add something. Okay, I don't want to add anything. Let's go back to projection again. Okay, I don't want any filter here. In case if you want, you can add, so you can select respective column and you can add the filters. And let's go to mapping. Here you see again 148 columns. You can add a new column and you can map that column to the field coming from the source in case if you want any extra column. Or if you want to remove some certain columns, you can select, you can remove, and you can move up and down also. These are the different options. You can use auto map in case if you already have the target object and different names are there, you can use that one. So these are the options available in filter under projection. But for now, I don't want anything since I just want to show you like how this works. If you want, you can add. And next is settings. Under settings, so by default it is load type is initial only. Initial means it will load complete data once. It will not capture the deltas again later. But this anyway, we know like how it works. Now let's see delta capture. Enable delta capture. It will show you delta capture table. Okay, this is the delta capture table. Load is initial and delta. That means it will initialize and it will load the delta records if any. Okay, and also if you observe, let me close that. When I click on delta capture, two target columns were added for delta capture. So by default, when you select delta capture, two columns will be added. Those are like change type and change date something. Let's see. Yeah, I see change type and change date. These two columns by default will be added when it is delta capture. But if I remove, see they will be removed. So let's click on delta capture. Okay. Projections we have seen, settings we have seen, and this above source setting. These are threads target column. You can object thread counter for delta loads 1 to 10 you can give. Let's keep it as 1. And these are the columns. Okay, these are the different options under this. And now let's click on somewhere else, or you can go to replication for that. So these are the replication for properties. Let's rename to replication for sales item. This is the replication flow I want to give. And next is delta load interval. Like in what intervals you want to run the delta. So what it does is it will check, uh, like currently it is hour, right? It will check every hour if there are any delta records. If there are, then suppose if I run at 11:45, it will initialize and it will check the delta records. And later, again after 1 hour, that means 12:45, it will check if there are any delta records, it will load again like that. Okay. So now I am okay with the flow creation, and I don't have, like you see, you have truncate in case if you want to delete completely and load that way. But now we don't need that because we are doing it. We want to capture the delta records. So in case if you want to truncate, you can click on truncate. Okay. So let me save this and deploy. Okay, I want to create the same name and deploy this. Let's wait for the deployment to complete. So by using these replication flows, we can we can capture the delta in our local tables, and later we can use those delta tables like in our graphical views or SQL views, and by using them again we can use those views into analytical models, so that your delta will be capturing in these tables, and in the views you can see the latest data. And similarly, you can see the latest data available in our models. Okay, now it's deployed. So let's do one thing and let's run this. And one more thing I want to show you. Let's say, let's try to create schedule. So it is giving an error if you want to schedule. What it is saying is, for replication flows that contain objects with load type initial and delta. In our case, we have objects initial and delta we have selected in the settings. So if you have objects with load type initial delta, no schedule can be created. So we cannot create schedules for initialize and delta. It will be keep checking for any delta records on hourly basis and it will update automatically. Okay, so let's run this and see what it means. Run started. You will get this monitor. You can also go from here. It will go to data integration monitor. Here you can see this is our active currently status. You can see active. What time we started? 11:39:54 and run by run type permanent. Initial load progress. Still it is running. Let's refresh. Let's see initial running. Initial running and you can see you can click on this. Okay, that's okay. If I go here, you see initial load partitioning completed, data transfer messages are available for you. Let's go here. These are the messages. Let's go under metrics. So duration, initial load duration, it's still running. Initial load operation 0, number of partition completed 0, errors 0, transferring 3. Let's on this. You see initial load is in progress. Partition information. There are different, I think there are 3 partitions. It's trying to load. Basically, you can see the logs here for this run. Let's wait for this completion. What I will do is I will pause because it might take some time. You see here the status is changed. Status is active, retrying object. Okay, now let's go to metrics. Here you see number of partitions 4, completed 3, transferring 1. Let's go inside this. So initial load completed, status completed. This is a partition ID initial. Next one same. Let's see last one. So this is delta. Transfer mode delta. First try, retry started at 11:41. Okay. Total retry count 1. So it did initiate the load and after loading it tried to fetch the data records one time. Okay. Started at data not ready count. Okay, let's go back and let's see here. Okay, you see here data load it's completed for initial. No new delta data available. Next delta load will be after 12:41:54. Okay, so that is 1 hour from now. I think it tried at what time? Let's go back to here. 11:41:54. It tried first try. 11:41:54. So now, by it's saying there are no delta records, it's gonna try again. Next delta will be after 12:41:54. That is exactly 1 hour because we gave 1 hour as the interval. And also you see here the task details. Uh, let's see anywhere we can see how many number of, you can see initial load progress 1 or 2 it's completed already. Let's go back to metrics and see how many anywhere. Yeah, you can see initial load operations. I think these are the number of records. 449,000 records. We'll do one thing. Let's go back the data should be available in our table. This is our table, sales document items. Let's go back to data builder, and before going that, you can see here run status is active. That means state run, this run is active now. It will be checking after 1 hour as mentioned here. See, the data will be loaded according to the scheduled delta load interval, but one or more objects would not be loaded and a new attempt is planned. Okay, that means it will check as per the delta interval maintained here, and it will load. Here you can see under the details, delta load interval is 1 hour. Okay, now let's go back to data builder and see our table whether it has any records or not. So inside folder, this is our replication flow which we created. This is the table. We have seen around 449,000 records are there. Yeah, you can see here the table information. This is delta capture. For remote tables, we don't have this information. For remote tables, we have other options like we want to replicate the data, real-time replication, all these things. Okay, but this is a delta capture table. And if you come down, I think, yeah, here you can see dependent objects. This is the replication flow by using which this table got replicated. Okay, now let's see the data available or not. If the initialization is successful, it should have this 449,000 records. You can see here 449,600, and also we must have these two columns, change date, and let's go down. You see this change type and change date. Let's bring them to top. Click OK. Ignore the warning. Okay, you see here change date. That means when the data is loaded. I think this is 6:10, 6:11. That must be, I think, UTC time. Yeah, these are coming in the UTC time. It is like current time only. If you check the current time, UTC 11:48 means, I think, yeah, it is UTC time, same time. And also something change. I missed that field. Change type. Yeah, this one also, let's bring this to top. Now the warnings. Yeah, this is the change type. It is currently here. I'm not sure. Maybe initial load something. Okay. So that's how you can create replication flow to capture delta records from the source in your local tables. Okay, when you create a replication flow, you can create some local tables of delta capture, and replicate. You can schedule, like you can replicate according to your requirement, like hourly or every 2 hours, 30 minutes, like that. And so that you will have the latest data available in your Datasphere, and you can use them for building views, analytical models, all these things. Okay, and also let's go to our replication. I can go from here itself. Dependency objects. Let's open again. We have seen we cannot create schedules if our load type is initial and delta. And also in the next And we will see in the one more session for replication flow. We have, if you remember, when I'm selecting the container, let's click on save. We have data sources. Normally, if you are from a BW background, we have data sources, right? Like standard data sources like ODP uh, data sources. I think let's try to see whether we can use these data sources directly and capture the data into local tables. We'll see in the next session. For now, yeah, that's about the replication flows. I hope you understand. And let's try to practice so that you will understand more. In the trial versions, SAP has given, connections. Even we have some other connections as well. So far we have seen S4, but I think you have also connections to, uh, yeah, HANA Cloud, and also we have BW4 connection, I think, before. So yeah, let's try to explore and see. Thank you. We'll see you in the next sessions.